We love say sex in space.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that couldn't think of anything clever to say because I'm tired. Hi, honey. How are you?
Also tired.
Yes.
Just this is so stupid. But I will say, you already know this about me, but the listeners are going to learn a lot about me in the next several minutes because I assume we're going to talk about the week we had.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to learn a lot about me at a very specific point, and I'll tell you when.
Okay.
But yes, I am, all things considered, and by all things considered, I mean the week we had and the fact that our country is a full-blown fascist dictatorship, which, by the way, real quick, yes, that's a statement of fact, and if that us saying that into microphones that go directly to yours causes a problem for you, just get out of here, just leave. We neither want nor need you here. With all that said, everything out of the way, we were supposed to go on vacation this week, and some of us did. We were packed up, ready to go on vacation last Sunday. It is now Friday. And the son was sick on Thursday. The daughter was sick on Saturday. But we were like, you know what? This is just a little tummy bug. But then that little tummy bug kicked the absolute shit out of you on Sunday.
Yes, it did.
To the point where you ended up just punting.
Yeah.
On vacation.
I ended up not being able to get on. I couldn't get on the plane.
Yeah. There was no way. And then the fact that it was delayed, and then we didn't land in Florida till almost 1 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I would not have been fun.
No.
On that trip at all.
No, I would have paid $8 to get on the Wi-Fi to Google Air Divorce, I think. I'm kidding. Obviously, I wouldn't have done that. You probably would have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
Maybe. I don't know.
But anyway, all that said, we got down to Florida, myself and the kids, your parents. It was a lovely house that they rented. The kids had a blast. Got down there Sunday night, got home, got to the place at 2 a.m. Monday, great. I felt fine. Was tired. Kids had a blast. I was like, good. We dodged a bullet. Wake up Tuesday morning. I feel achy, but I was just like, oh, it's a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Nope. My turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent all day in an uncomfortable mattress, sobbing to the NPR Tiny Desk concert for Semi-Charmed, for Third Eye Blind. Yeah, it was just a hectic week.
Yeah, yes, it was.
That just threw everything into a tizzy. But what I wanted to say was that, having said all of that, we were originally going to go down to Florida and record this episode in Florida.
Yes, we were.
And I'm glad we didn't, because there was wall to wall, the whole floor was this really beautiful it was like being in a warehouse, an empty warehouse. The sound was terrible. I would have wanted to record outside. That's what I would have done. I would have said, guys, could you go in the house, because this episode would have just sounded so bad. So that's what I meant when I said you're going to learn something very specific about me, is that I'm glad all of that happened so that we didn't record the episode there.
Sure.
In the house. But I would have much rather had you
I mean,
there.
we also could have just gotten there and decided not to record because the acoustics were bad. I would rather that didn't happen at all.
Of course. The biggest tragedy, of course, is that you didn't get to go and wear your new swimsuits because you look so fucking cute in those swimsuits. You look amazing.
Thank you, dear.
In
yes.
those swimsuits.
No, I stayed home and I spent 4 days by myself, and that was good. That was good in its own ways, in many ways, but I am sad and will always regret not being able to go.
Yeah. It was one of these years.
Yeah.
We have not had a vacation where something
No, we never have.
has not gone wrong.
No, I just want one vacation where everything goes fine.
Yeah.
Not even good, just fine.
Just fine. Yep. Yeah.
Not one tragic, comic, ridiculous. Anyway,
indeed. We're not going to bring the whole affair down with that That's the last bit of negativity you're going to hear for the rest of the episode, unless the topic of our government comes up again. Other than that, not going to happen. So what do we have on the agenda today?
This week, I read How to Land an Alien Boyfriend by Cassie O. Peia. Cassie O. Peia is an alternate pen name for our friend Dakota Cockaday.
Which I assume is not her real name.
No, I'm very sure that's not her real name either. I know her as Dakota Cockaday. So Cassie O. Peia is her alternate pen name. Anyway, Dakota is the reason we are going to Monsterotica Con at all.
Is she?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
And I just wanted to extend her a little extra shout out because she's the one who DM'd me and was like, are you guys going to this? And I had never heard of it. And she encouraged me to do it and is still the only time I have ever put cheap smut out there, cold application like that with the possibility of rejection, right? And we got in and it was great. So thanks, Dakota, for believing in us, I guess.
cheapsmutpod@gmail.com, Dakota. If you could send us a copy of your birth certificate to prove that you're not named Dakota Cockaday.
Oh my God, please do not send me any personal information via the internet. No, stop.
Okay. You don't have to do that.
No.
She said you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take you at your word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez Louise, sir.
Anyway. I'm just saying. I'm curious.
Anyway, while I was doing my research for this book, I was reminded that Dakota is part of another incredible project that I have mentioned several times now. The Sentient Object Holiday Series. I know I've talked about this. So it is a series of 14 sentient object novellas by, they say some, I say all, of the best sentient object novella or erotic romance authors out there. So Biblio Barbie, Dakota Cockaday writing as Cassie O. Peia, Holly Wilde, Luna Cantrip, Nicole Parker, Sylvia Morrow, Thea Mason, Unfortunate Reads, and Vera Valentine.
Yeah, I know pretty much all of those names.
Yeah, right? So there are 14 novellas in this series, and they are all out or coming out in the next 6 weeks. And they are, okay, amazing. By title alone, amazing. They're all called My Date with a Something. They're My Date with a Rubber Duck, right? Rock, Paper, Scissors, a light bulb, a Leif Erikson statue, Carl.
I saw, that's Biblio Barbie.
Yes, that's Biblio Barbie.
I saw that in her, not her link tree, whichever version of that she uses. And
yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. And unless I receive some kind of cease and desist letter from these authors, what I want to do is just cover all of these as our bonus episodes in Patreon for the next
forever.
Forever. I would in an ideal world, I would like to do 2 a month and just dedicate the whole season to it. But that's asking you to edit 2 episodes a month, and I'm not just going to volunteer you to do that. So
yeah, especially through the summer.
Yeah. So that is to say, I'm just going to snatch these up in bonus episode them whenever I get a chance. And I'm excited to do so because, again, rock, paper, scissors. I want to know what that even means. My date with, I think one of them was my date with an ampersand or something. Or the collate button or some crazy thing like that. I want to read them all. They look amazing. But anyway, so
they are getting so specific.
I know
that I my date with the W key from my first keyboard I had when I was in college. You know the one.
Stop. No.
And it would still be great.
It would still be great, but no, that's not, they don't get that specific. It's not even a specific Leif Erikson statue. It's just a Leif Erikson statue.
Yeah.
Did you say my turn to finger you?
I did.
Fuck off.
And just for the joke, not to be impolite, but I believe it's pronounced Leif.
Oh.
I don't know if it is or not. I just wanted to do the Squirrely Dan joke.
I honestly only know anything about this person because of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh yeah.
Happy Leif Erikson Day, Herga Durga Durga. And I don't know anything else.
I don't either.
At all. Never thought to look it up.
Like I said, I just wanted to make the joke.
Terribly sorry to anyone who was offended by my lack of knowledge.
She doesn't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Fuck this show.
Or who he is.
Yeah. And you call yourself an educated person.
I do, but you know who I don't care about? A lot of men.
Yeah, that's fair.
A lot of them.
Yeah, no.
Who says that guy's not on the fucking list?
Yeah,
you know?
That's fine.
But I do care about this book. So let's do this, okay? This is How to Land an Alien Boyfriend by Cassie O. Peia. It is available for 99 cents or through Kindle Unlimited, $7.99 for an Amazon paperback. And our triple T's are triggers, discussions of infertility and IVF, pregnancy loss / childborn sleeping, military PTSD in a main character, divorce and post-divorce abuse, elderly character in danger, depictions of a character in acute physical pain. Our tropes: this is an FM cis heterosexual alien romance featuring a human FMC and a non-terrestrial MMC.
Yeah, I guess it's right in the title.
Yeah. Invasion story, fated mates, divorce romance, eldest daughter syndrome, and Dakota demands an animal companion.
No bullshit. When you I was like, who the fuck is IVF and why are we talking about her? Oh, IVF.
IVF. That's funny. No.
India,
no.
Victor, Foxtrot.
Exactly. In vitro fertilization. Yeah.
Not Ivy Foxworthy.
Yeah.
From Schenectady.
Ivy Foxworthy. Oh yeah, she did that series of kitsune romances. It was fantastic, actually. I would love a kitsune romance. There has to be one. I'm looking later. Anyway, our titillations are slow burn, unique anatomy ?
Oh no.
And mild spicy, like a white person ordering Chinese food.
Yeah. Like just the perfect spicy mayo.
Mild spicy. That's all.
When you said, I'm used to you saying unique anatomy or weird anatomy, but when you say it like Ron Burgundy, I worry.
I'm sorry, I laughed too loud. I missed the last thing you said.
I said, then I worry.
You worry. Oh, yeah. Well,
Unique anatomy?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out if you should be worried later.
I already am. Don't worry.
So our story takes place in the desert. Where? I'm not entirely sure, but it is the United States, so I'm going to go Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona. We focus on our FMC. Her name is Araceli, and I don't know what her last name is. Her father's last name is Gonzalez, though. So, Araceli Gonzalez. She is 32 years old. She is divorced, a former elementary school teacher, and a Latina woman, but I otherwise don't have a lot of description of her. Araceli is rebuilding her life after a series of really unfortunate life events that ultimately culminated in her marriage falling apart. Now she is divorced and she's moved back home to live with her father. She doesn't work as an elementary school teacher anymore. Instead, now she has started her new career as a service technician at the local low-cost tire store.
I was going to say, whatever it is, she's probably way happier than being an elementary school teacher.
Yeah. That would be my guess, too, actually.
She probably got a pay raise.
She seems to be doing quite well in this position. She's coming to the end of her training, and she's kicking ass on the job as far as I can tell. So we meet her at the end of her work day, and she's finishing up this last minute rotation that came in. She tells her trainer to leave because his phone is blowing up. It's his anniversary. His wife is going to be pissed if he's late. Just fucking go. I can finish a tire rotation on my own, Brandon. It's fine. So she sends him out, and she's finishing this job up on her own when she hears this voice coming from the back of the work bay, and her initial thought is to call out, and nobody says anything back. So then she starts clearing the bay slowly to look behind, looking behind all of the toolboxes and whatever random bay crap is lying around. And then at some point she realizes this is what people in horror movies do right before they die. They go inspecting for the strange noises. But it's too late. She can't stop now. And a figure steps out from behind a pile of tires, a stack of tires. And this figure, it basically is a living shadow. It's a humanoid figure, pitch black in color. But underneath the work lights, he shines like an oil slick. like
I tripped and fell.
Yeah.
Into the 55-gallon drum of 30 weight. Little help.
So he's otherwise described as handsome if he weren't so terrifying.
Can relate.
Like right. Masculine in shape and form, again humanoid. No hair as far as we can tell, no clothes as far as we can tell, but also he's not just like hanging peen or anything. And he has golden gleaming eyes. He steps towards her, he looks her in the eye, and his mouth moves, and then like a bad kung fu dub, she hears, "Greetings, Earthling." This is our MMC. His name is Kai, Kai. He is an advanced scouting party of one.
Oh. Cav Scout.
Yep.
All right.
And he is here to assess Earth for possible invasion and relocation. And he is very, very confused as to why the human in front of him is changing colors, because he read the literature on his way here and it didn't say anything about us changing colors. But this one's going from a sandy tan color to a very pale color, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Hey, Kai, buddy, have you seen you?
Right? But so the literature was very clear that humans are easily stressed creatures, much like poultry, and that you have to make sure that they are calm before you go gallivanting off, because if you leave one unaccounted for, it will undoubtedly go screaming to its local government. And he just doesn't have the time for that. Like, that would just be a waste of his time.
Unless you came across, like, I don't know, us.
Yeah, right?
Then we'd be like, dude, you do not want that particular smoke. Just don't fuck with that right now. It's bad news.
So he speaks to her a little more, and eventually she starts speaking back to him. And first, it's to beg that he not hurt the guy who's working on the retail side of the shop right now. And he's like, why would I hurt anybody? I'm not here to hurt anybody. You just can't go off telling your local authorities about me. I mean, I'm not going to hurt people. And
we're just going to do a little invading.
And he says, I'm just here to recon a little bit. Be quiet about it, okay? And she says, "Oh, well then why, if you're here for like just to observe us, then why aren't you a little gray guy, right?" And he says, oh no, those are drones. Those are data collection drones. Completely different species. Other side of the galaxy, actually.
Totally different department.
But yeah, no, I'm real. I'm sentient. I'm alive. I'm not a robot drone, and that's why I'm not small and gray. And she's just like, I need to sit down, but I can't because you are in my fucking space, dude. And he stretches into an amorphous blob around her and guides her gently to the ground.
I really wish he hadn't.
Where he then pulls into a puddle of goo around her.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
No.
did that.
I wish I could edit that out of my brain.
See, so I love this. I think it's so clever. It's so interesting. Give me more of the alien goo guy. Like, this is great, right? He's so funny. So Dakota in the intro said something about this all coming from a picture of like a really weird looking mannequin. I want to see that mannequin, please, if you could.
Okay.
cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. Send me a picture of that mannequin, please.
And then you can text me just a copy of your driver's license. Katie never has to know.
Stop trying to steal our listeners' identities.
I'm not. I just want to make sure that Dakota Cockaday isn't really her name.
It's not, of course you know it's not.
Please. Mr. Cockaday was my father.
Oh my Lord. Okay, so once Araceli is on the ground, she
in Kai's goo.
In Kai's goo, in the puddle of Kai.
Kai's a goo goo.
Oh no, that was a weird one. I didn't like that. She reaches out and sort of like touches the puddle of dude, and just rests her hand gently on his skin for a moment.
One of the worst early 2000 grunge bands.
Puddle of dude. Oh my God. But then she pulls away just as fast, and she stands up and she's like shaking her hand out and running it like she runs to the sink to run it under cold water, and she's acting like it's like stinging or in pain or something. She says that she thinks she must be allergic to him or something, but it's not coming off. But Kai knows otherwise. So he looks down at his own hand and he sees the stark white bands of a mating bond starting to form around the base of all of his fingers. Yes.
Of all the Jiffy Lubes and all of Scottsdale.
Yep.
Sorry, Tucson,
yep.
Arizona.
That
you could have ended up in. You ended up in this one with Araceli.
Exactly.
It's Araceli, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Yeah. The one and only human he has come into contact with so far. Yep. We love it when it all works out like that. So
every fucking time.
She thinks she's having some kind of medical emergency, and she asks him if he has like the alien first aid magic wand, whatever, to make this better. And he says, no, but I do have some good news. We're about to make history as the first interspecies mated pair.
Surprise!
Hooray! Maybe the scientists will name the disease after us, is basically what he just said to her. That's what she heard.
What do you think? Wait, where are you going?
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yep. So she just laughs in his face, right? I mean, what the fuck else are you going to say? And she's like, okay, I get it now. This is some kind of setup from my ex, Ray, to get out of paying his alimony. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he's up to. You tell that son of a bitch the judge said 5 years and he's paying all 5 of those fucking years. Like, I don't know what she thinks is going on, but this is the one thing her brain can kind of make sense of, is like that her ex-husband is fucking with her because he's already tried a few times. So he must be trying again.
So
I don't know how the guy melted.
I was going to say, I'm going to go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm going to hire the best effects team I possibly can. It's going to cost 10 times what my alimony costs. But it's the principle.
Yep.
I will drive her insane.
I will drive her insane. This is, Gaslight 2. Gaslight 2, Electric Boogaloo. I can't fucking take it. So she turns and walks back to start finishing up her job because she still has to finish this tire rotation. She's at work right now.
Oh, she didn't punch out for this? Uh-oh.
And when she gets a few feet away from him, searing pain starts shooting through her, like nerve-frying pain. And she can't breathe. She can't move. And Kai says, take 2 steps back. And she does. And the pain stops.
Oh, come on.
And so she kind of tests that again. She takes a half step back, another half a step. There's that pain again.
World's shittiest shock collar.
Yep. He says that this is part of the mating bond. They can literally, they cannot be separated without causing physical pain. He also feels that pain. When the chapter's in his perspective, he does feel the pain of separation. I don't know if it's because he has a different kind of nervous system or what, but she feels it way more acutely than he does. So she forces him to like hover around so she can finish her job, basically, and then deliver the keys out to the front. And then she announces that she's headed home. So have a nice life. Tell Ray whatever the fuck you want to tell Ray, but I'm leaving now. And then she turns and she just starts walking away again. And she thinks, whatever he did to me, it'll have to wear off eventually, right? And if I just walk, maybe if I just keep on walking, maybe if I just walk through this horrible pain that is tearing me apart from the inside out. Nope, no, never mind. She passed out.
Hey, Kai, how about you follow me over here?
Well, she told him to fuck off. She told him to go away and walked off. She thought that she could handle it.
Walk over here to this Ford F-150 that I'm working on.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this chapter was called "In Which We Learn How Stubborn Our FMC Can Be," or something like that.
Seriously.
So, yeah, she's deeply stubborn. And so she passes out. Kai rushes over to her, picks her up in his arms, and she regains consciousness and immediately is like beating him on the shoulders, like, put me down, put me down.
Beating him on his gooey shoulders.
There is no indication that he is anything other than dry.
Hold on, I gotta mark that down. There's your cold open. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Oh.
There is no indication he's anything. Okay, got it.
Stop. So she's bashing him on the shoulders, telling him to put her down, and he says, "Look, okay, no, the physical contact is actually helping you recover from what basically you just fried your entire nervous system for a second. You need to let me just calm down for a sec."
Let me get you some Capri Sun and orange slices.
Yeah. She asks, how long is this going to last? I assume specifically she meant the pain thing, but he doesn't answer directly. Instead, he says the effects diminish once you have a child. And she just starts laughing in his face. She says, well, I've never fucking done that successfully, so good luck. You picked the wrong one, buddy. He's like, I didn't pick anybody. No, I didn't pick shit. This is the mating bond. This is way bigger than me. And she's like, whatever, I'm done. I can't. I've had enough. I need to go home. He has to come with her. So eventually he gets into her car and she drives them home to her house where she lives with her father.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Exactly.
Kai. No, Dad. He just looks gooey. He's actually quite dry. Touch him.
I dare you.
Do it, pussy.
I mean, Dad. Anyway, so as they are walking up to her home, her lovely home, which she shares with her lovely father.
She's about to be all covered in goo.
She says, my dad is blind, but he has hearing like a fucking rabbit. So mind your P's and Q's, okay? Like, you can't just go mouthing off in there. And they go inside and they meet the most delightful man. His name is Abel. And his animal companion, a pig. You know, Dakota loves a pig. So This is the second pig. This one's name is Chorizo.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. And Chorizo is a incredibly intelligent, incredibly spoiled animal. I love him. I love him so much. And he loves Abel, which is part of why I love him so much. So they have an introductory conversation. What the fuck was that? Holy shit, Catherine.
I kind of want to just like stop the recording and then just pick it up tomorrow and see what happens. We are so off the rails. No. We can't do it tomorrow.
This is going great. This is going really well.
No.
Actually.
It is. I just want to see the vibe shift. But I'm actually glad we're doing it tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't do it tomorrow because I got my fantasy baseball draft. But
yeah. All right. So after their introductory conversation, Araceli is in the kitchen cooking dinner, and it all just sort of like hits her. This is actually really, really for real happening to her.
I'm like Jodie Foster in Contact.
So she copes with that by making a meal. She has eldest daughter syndrome. She has to feed everyone. That's her like responsibility, and how she copes with her stress. So she cooks this meal. She chats with Kai for a bit about his usual diet, and they both confirm that neither one of them would ever eat chorizo. I mean, come on, look at this animal. We're not going to eat him. Who promptly then gives his blessing to Kai by becoming his devoted fan pig forever. Oh God, chorizo loves Kai. They eat dinner as a family, and then So Abel tells them about his new neighbor. So he has a sweet new, like, I think widowed older neighbor named Anya, and he has a cute little romance with her. It's the second storyline, and it's adorable. And he gets to know Kai a little bit. Kai enjoys his wilted salad with like sad little tomatoes way too much, which is indicative of how long it's been since he's eaten anything fresh. Really sad. And he like eats this entire salad while he and Abel just sort of chat about nothing. But he gets along with the family really well, and it's very sweet. Everybody sort of takes it in stride anytime he says something that's like a little off. And when the meal is over, Abel and Chorizo get up and go to bed. He literally just like slaps his knees and gets up and leaves. Chorizo, it's time to go to bed. And off he goes. Yep. While Araceli is washing the dishes, just intently watching the dishes.
She's lost it. She's just fried.
She's done, folks. Kai fixes their sputtering old dishwasher with tools that he pulled out of his invisible space pants. Like, she literally was like, apparently those were pants, because he pulled tools out of somewhere. I hope it was pants. Oh God, I hope it was pants.
Or was he's like space bagging sagging Barry.
Yeah. So he fixed her washing machine, which is lovely. And then once they are done with their chorin for the evening, they go to her home. So Araceli has converted a shed in her father's backyard into her own private studio home. With the proceeds that she got from like the sale of her house and splitting it in the divorce, she was able to insulate it and add plumbing and a shower. And she has her own private kitchen, bed, bath, separate from her dad.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. The only thing that she didn't have the money for was like redoing the outside of it. Mm-hmm. So when they get to it, Kai's like, your father has banished you to this shack? And she's like, it's not a fucking shack, it's my home, dude. Shut up.
I reread Check Please, and they were talking about Dex building the bungalow in the basement, and I was like, yes, Dex. I think it was Dex that did it. I would absolutely do that. I
would love to build all sorts of shit in our basement, but that costs money. Yeah. So they get ready for bed for the night, and she makes the pillow wall in the middle of the bed, which is, it's funny. Kai's like, I don't remember reading any of the literature that they make nests, but apparently there's nesting behavior in humans, so I guess I'll try not to tip it over when we sleep. And then it is time for bed, so she just shuts the lights off and they lay down. She doesn't want to talk. He brought up something that she was like, no, not tonight, and they just lay down. But she can't sleep. There's like a weird invasion of privacy thing sort of happening in, not the guy's not even from her planet, but like he's in her space.
I was going to say, no, he literally said he was here to invade everything.
And, yes. And so in the dark, eventually she asks why are you here? Not like in Arizona, like, why are you on the planet? And he tells her the truth. He says he is an advanced scout. If he delivers a response to his superiors, then Earth will be greenlit for the next stage, which involves taking all of the humans off of it, relocating them to somewhere else, and leaving the planet empty for whoever is coming next. Probably more of his people, but they never really specify. I think that it's his people, though. Araceli is horrified by that and very angry. He has his arguments to justify himself, but like there's no answer that doesn't end with humans in jeopardy, people in pain, and her apparently biologically tethered to a shittier version of the Silver Surfer, basically.
Okay.
So she gets out of bed. She gets as far away from him as she can on her like little love seat in the corner. They have 5 days before Kai has to report back. She tells him that she will not leave her father. She would rather die. The next day, Kai has to accompany Araceli wherever she goes, and she has to go to work. So she has him like get dressed from head to toe, hat. I think she puts some bandages on him too. And then she takes him to work, and she walks into the tire shop and she tells them that her boyfriend, Kai, wants one of the service tech positions that is open. They sort of smooth talk Kai into the job. They highlight his military service. This is not stolen valor. It's just not Earth valor. Okay.
It's just not It's a different military. You've never heard of it.
Yeah, but he says something like, I have experience working on like high altitude aircraft. And so they're like, oh, Air Force. Okay, well, this is a veterans establishment. Like, we hire vets. So great. And they give him a 90-day probation with preference for his veteran status. Araceli sort of manages this perfect kind of social shame moment when somebody looks at Kai's skin a little too close. And she's like, he has a skin condition. Don't stare. And that's like all it takes is just a little bit of social shame. Nobody's going to give this guy a single problem from here on out.
Generally, no. That
happens like one more time in the book. They meet Anya, the sweet old neighbor from next door. Mm-hmm. And she like gasps and he's like, it's a skin condition. She's like, oh no, it's fine. I'm sorry. It took me by surprise. That's all. And nobody ever is going to say shit to anybody. No. Not anyone kind anyway.
No, not unless you're a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Right. So Kai starts working. He fits right in. He's good at the job and he gets along with his trainer, who's a guy named Marcus. They sort of pass the morning staying in close proximity to each other so they can both get their work done. At lunch, they go out to her car and he pushes his face against the glass of the car before she opens the door. And she's like, why do you do that? To check for, predators. And she's like, the car's locked. Nothing can get in there. And he says, not around here, 1,000-yard stare,
That's what Dr. Venture said to Brock Sampson right before the Chupacabra jumped out of their jet and attacked him in that one episode of the Venture Brothers.
I mean, that is true. But Kai did like 1,000-yard stare. So we get his military trauma dump at this point. So
I love a good military trauma dump.
We love a trauma dump. So he was a member of his military, a team leader in this like months-long war that was being fought with other species over this specific planet. So I guess they were all fighting over the right to conquer it, settle it, or something. On mission one day on this planet, they stopped. They exited their vehicle to assist another platoon. When they came back, he was supposed to sweep the vehicle first as team leader, but he was slow to get back and they opened the doors without his clear. And the entire squad was devoured by some kind of predator that was native to this planet that could just pass through whatever objects it wanted, basically. They called them something like ghosts or phantoms. He lost his entire squad that day. And his punishment for that failure was a choice. He and his family could go to prison, or he could volunteer for one of the Hail Mary pod missions they send out seeking habitable planets.
I just love the idea of it's literally like in football, a Hail Mary. I'm just chucking it. Mm-hmm. I just love the idea they're just shooting pods and
yep. That's what Superman's dad did. If it was good enough for Superman, it was good enough for us. No. So yeah, basically they have an idea of a planet that may or may not be habitable, but it's too expensive to send entire ships out to check on things. So they send one guy. But it's basically a suicide mission. It's a single-man pod that's shot towards a suspected habitable planet. It has no way to steer. It only has enough fuel for its mission, not enough fuel to leave again. It could collide with a random asteroid and never make it to its destination. And if it does get to the planet, the likelihood of that planet being habitable is not that high. And if it's not, you just die there.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, our planet is 70% water.
Yeah. And he could have landed in the middle of the ocean, sunk to the bottom, or be eaten by a fucking whale.
Yep.
But instead, he wound up in a tire shop. Anyway, the reason why is pretty funny, too.
I assume we'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only way he can ever see anything like home again is if the planet turns out to be habitable like ours is, in which case he has then 5 days to get back to the ship, report the planet is habitable, and then be part of the relocation process. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah, because that's a pretty harsh, not only you, but your family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, man, they're dead. You don't, no, never mind. They're all, no, I don't have family. Family? No, it's just me.
Yeah. Nobody ever said he came from a nice place, I guess.
Yeah, no shit.
So she is equal parts like pissed off and sympathetic to this guy. Like, he lost his entire platoon. He has some serious PTSD from fighting in a war. And then he got shot off into space as his final reward. But also in service of relocating my entire species off of our planet. Like, this is all really fucked up. But ultimately, Earth is my home. Like, it's a shithole, but it's my shithole. And I don't want you guys to take it over.
Right.
So she comes up with a plan. And she presents it to him on the drive home after work. She says if he can figure out a way to refuel the ship and get it off of the planet again, she will go with him wherever it is that they need to end up. But they just, as long as he doesn't report Earth as habitable, she'll leave with him. They spend their evening with Abel and chorizo, same as the night before. Simple family stuff. Kai helps make dinner. They eat, and then Abel and chorizo go to bed. Same as the night before. Again, Araceli has her routine of finishing up the dishes and closing up the house for the night, going back to her space, showering, building the nest, going to bed. And Kai is like, humans like routines. No, Kai, not all of them. Only some of them. Other ones really hate them.
Yeah. I'm one of the ones that like it.
Yes. They chat in the dark again, and eventually they land on why Kai chose to come to the tire shop in the first place.
Oh, yes.
And he says it's because it smells like home.
Oh, no.
Specifically, rubber. Rubber smells like home. He actually spoke to a pile of tires when he first walked in. That was the voice that she heard.
Spoke to or conversed with?
Spoke to.
Okay.
He thought that it was a person or something, but then he was like, oh no, that's a stack of inanimate objects. My bad.
No,
I feel silly.
It's a stack of 255-60s.
Yeah. He says that his tissues share some cellular properties with earthen rubber, and his home smells a lot like earthen rubber. I don't want to go there. That sounds like it would give me a headache.
Yeah, I'm not happy just thinking about it.
I don't like the smell of rubber, but some people really love the smell of tire shops too. So, to each their own. So he then demonstrates his rubber-like properties to her. So he has her hold her hand up, and then he laces their fingers together. And then he sort of like stretches and melds his form around her until he's encased her entire arm in a second skin up to the shoulder.
You gotta get consent for this guy.
He did.
Okay. The hand, but then all the way up the arm?
I don't know. He just said, can I show you? And she said yes. He calls this extending himself. He says it feels really good to do like a deep like muscle stretch or something like that, but it's not something he does often because like there's not a lot of a use for it in most situations.
Just a party trick.
Yeah, really. So she then puts her palm on top of that second skin over her skin, and he gets goosebumps, which she points out, and he says that it's been a long time since he's had any kind of contact. He was in that pod for 2 years.
Christ.
And she starts like spiraling, thinking about how long they will have to be in that pod once they get back like off of the planet. What if they need medical attention or something? And he says, well, he has a lot of first aid training. He was in the military. And also the pod AI can do most things. It really, the only thing it can't do is brain surgery and childbirth. So it should be fine. And the mention of childbirth is enough to have her like spiraling further. So at this point in the story, she has already told Kai earlier in the story, so I already knew, that she has lost a child. earlier in her life, sometime before it could be born. And that's part of why she's so prickly about the idea of needing a man or needing to conceive, because conception is what ultimately destroyed her marriage. She breaks down. She tells Kai that she doesn't think she can ever go through something like that. She doesn't think she can go through being pregnant again. And he holds her hand and he comforts her. He says, of course you don't. You don't have to do anything. I told you we could, not that we had to. Whatever you want. It's fine. It's fine. And he comforts her until she falls asleep. She wakes up in the morning and she's still clutching his hand. It's a very sweet moment. When they wake up, there is a quick moment of like that heart racing, pupils blown, like we're in bed together kind of moment. But Araceli shakes it off really fast. She gets out of bed and she gets ready for work. They go to work, spend the day at work, and then they go after to see the pod. She wants to see it. It's in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the scrub, like just off the side of a random road. And like something like out of a 60s sci-fi movie, he holds his hand out to her when they're walking because she almost ran right into it, but there's nothing in front of them.
Okay.
And then he pushes a button and it materializes and it looks straight out of a 60s movie. It's a big, shiny metal flying saucer. Mm. They go inside. It's pretty spacious compared to what she thought. Because like when you hear pod, you don't think flying saucer, you think coffin or something. And he's like, no, I would have killed myself. No, thank you. He literally did make that joke, actually. He was like, yeah, the military humor gets dark. And she's like, I get it.
Yeah, no shit.
So this is something equivalent to, she says, like a 3-bedroom ranch house or something. There's 2 bedrooms, a control room, a gym, a full kitchen, and bathing facilities. So it's basically like traveling in a really nice RV or something, like a big RV.
Love it.
Kai determines that he can make fuel for the pod with elements that are readily available on Earth. So he'll get to that apparently at some point. Eventually, they are in his sleeping chamber. Like he's just giving her the tour. And she is really dismayed to learn that they don't have comfort items. She's like, there's just this one blanket. Where's the cozy shit? Aliens are not cozy. I don't like this. Eventually, the conversation leads to her trauma dump. So Araceli was married. Her ex-husband, Ray, R-E-Y. I felt like saying that. They tried to conceive for 2 years and they couldn't, and that strained their marriage. And then they did IVF, which was hard on her and hard on her body, and then that was harder on their marriage. By the time they actually got pregnant, they were barely speaking, but they got what they wanted, so they were muscling through until the 9-month mark when the baby stopped moving. And they didn't know better than they didn't go to the hospital as soon as they maybe should have, and the baby was born sleeping. They finish up on the ship. They head back home where Abel is preparing to go out to dinner with Anya for the evening, and it's definitely not a date, but Kai has now learned what a date is, and so now he wants to take Araceli on a date because, well, he skipped all of the normal human courting rituals, so we should try one. Then he realizes that he doesn't have any money. So at work the next day, he's asking his friend, friend and trainer, Marcus, I want to take Araceli on a date. What do? I don't have any money. And Marcus is like, man, you came to the right broke guy. Dates are easy. Take her on a walk. Pick her some flowers. Watch the sunset. Tell her you love her. Like, dates are easy, man. Marcus knows what's up. So Kai plans then to take her to the pod after work, and they can watch the sunset on top of the pod. Perfect date, right? She has packed a bunch of stuff that she wants to take with her on their journey. So after work, they go back to the house. They get those boxes. They take them to the pod where she then unpacks everything. And she puts things away in sort of like an anxious, fidgety way. Kai does whatever he needs to do with regards to fueling the pod up. And the last thing that she needs to do is put away like a stack of towels. So Kai leads her to this little ensuite toilet thing, but she doesn't realize how cramped that space is. So they're suddenly right up against each other. And he turns around to face her, and she's like in his space. She has been very, very careful to keep her distance and like ignore any kind of intrigue or arousal that she feels for Kai. But this close up, she can't help but wonder if aliens kiss. And he answers that they do. Oh no, did I say that out loud? Fuck. I hate when that happens. But he says it's okay though, because he has been dying to do that. So he leans in and he gives her a very sweet, gentle kiss, which then sort of morphs into a more exploratory kiss, which then becomes passionate. And he's kissing down her neck and stripping off her clothes. And she's like, it has been 2 years and I can only take so much, okay?
And I don't care that you're made of dry
and I don't
goo.
care that I don't care that you look like you're made of oil, but you're dry somehow. And they fuck about it, right? So this was a very sweet and clumsy first time after a long time sex for both of them, because he's been in space alone for 2 years, and she's been divorced from her shitty husband for 2 years.
Which
so
is probably akin
to being in space. Yeah. So to them, it is fantastic, but it's also nothing fancy. It's just like really good sex between two folks who really wanted to have good sex with each other, you know? Also, shout out to Dakota for your really cool wrap-on space condoms. Those were great. I loved that a lot. And shout out to Lindsay Rain. I didn't say this in her episode, the Spacetacular episode. Shout out for your super cool spray-on space condoms. Those were cool too. That was great. We love sex in space. Yes. So after they finish, they cuddle for a minute, and then Araceli asks if they can take a shower. Kai takes them to the shower chamber and gets them all set up with this like weird alien shower system until it's the perfect temperature and water pressure. And then they have a very enthusiastic round 2 now that they've gotten the initial like gotta get it done out of the way. Yeah. So it's on hands and knees because there is no place, like this is a metal box, smooth metal box. There's no place to purchase at all, and
that sounds
dangerous,
unsafe.
Yeah,
a
slippery
wet metal box.
Oh, I know, right?
We got to get as close to the ground as possible.
I'm guessing the floor is non-slip. I don't know, but there's like nowhere. There's no handholds or anything. So
Kai lay down.
Yeah, it's hands
top.
and knees. Now that Kai isn't so excited, he uses some of that flexibility that he has to his advantage in this scene. So after he's fully inside of her, he extends around her, I guess, labia and clitoris.
I don't like the way you're holding your phone because it looks like you're going to show me something.
I'm not going to show you anything. To sort of give an added friction to the whole situation, but nothing is like ever really seriously intimately described. It just says he extends. So use your imagination at your own discretion, I guess. And she is losing it. She's loving it. Absolutely great. And she's trying to find something to like hold on to get a sense of a reality around her. But again, there is nothing. She is in a metal box.
They are fucking in a frictionless room.
Exactly. And it's all just like chrome and water and
slipping into walls.
He comes.
Bumper sex.
He reaches down under her to actually finger her clit. So she has a second orgasm and she's like blissed out in this space shower. Good for her is what I say. I say good for her.
Huge opportunity for her.
Yeah. He worries that like by fucking her a bunch instead of watching the sunset on the pod roof, he has ruined the date. And she's like, no, buddy, this is a great date. It's fantastic. Good job. Good date. So
we're going to have more sunsets, bro.
They eventually actually get cleaned up and then they go back home where they try to go through the front door, but it is blocked and they can hear Chorizo inside squealing. So Kai takes the keys and he jumps like 3 fences around the back of the house to get into the alley, which is the fastest way to get to the back of the property to unlock the back door to get inside, where he finds Abel on the ground and Chorizo like poking him with his nose, trying to wake him up. He's unconscious, but fine. There is like a bookcase blocking the door. Like he grabbed the bookcase and brought it down with him when he collapsed or something. Okay. So that's why they couldn't open the door. So Kai gets the bookcase up. They get the door open. They call 911. Abel goes to the hospital. Everything is going to be fine in the end. But this incident has shifted Kai's entire perspective on everything. So this is now the last day of the 5 days. When they leave Abel and Anya at the hospital to go to the pod, Araceli thinks that they are leaving. This is it. They're done. She is now leaving her sick father in the hospital with his new girlfriend because she has to leave to go to space with her boyfriend.
I got to go to space with my oil boyfriend.
Exactly.
Goodbye.
Bye, Dad. And she is like holding it together as best as she can because she thinks this is the only plan. But when they get there, he asks her to wait outside for a minute. He goes inside, gathers all of her stuff in all of the boxes, brings them back out, and says he can't let her leave. Like, he can't let her leave her father. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. He tells her
That's your dad.
yeah, Abel needs her. Chorizo can't be trusted. He is a great pig, but he is but a pig, and he can't bring himself to take her away from her father forever. That's just not fair. He's not even sure why he's holding on to some allegiance to an organization or a people who sent him on a suicide mission,
And they have no idea.
Yeah. And they have no fucking clue. If he doesn't call in on the pod at the end of 5 days, his supervisors will assume the planet is uninhabitable and he died. So he's just going to stay here with her.
Yes.
And right? And they stand there together in the desert and they watch as the pod disintegrates into dust and blows away with the desert wind. He's just going to stay here from now on. The end. However, we do have an epilogue, as always.
Of course.
1 year later, Araceli and Kai get freaky with ice cream toppings in this one. So there was whipped cream, chocolate syrup, caramel sauce. It all sounded kind of sticky, but they had a great time. Hey, fantastic.
Some Jimmies in there.
Yeah. That's sprinkles for all of y'all who don't know a regional colloquialism. Kai is also now incorporating some of his bendiness into sex, though we do appreciate that he took some time to ease us into that one. He eats her out, I think, while he is standing up or something. It was wild. The way he contorted himself was insane. Anyway, so she comes. He stands up to go get a condom after she to actually fuck her, and she says she doesn't want one.
Oh.
She says she doesn't want to try to have a baby, but if it happens, well, that wouldn't be the end of the world either, now would it?
We don't know.
Right? Who knows? And they hold each other, they profess their love before apparently doing it raw for the first time.
Well.
The end. That was how to land an alien boyfriend. Thank you.
That was a good time.
That was a good time. Yes, it was.
Well played.
Yes.
Dakota.
If that is your real name. And we all know it's not.
Oh, but I wish it were. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the fact that in my phone book, there was somebody in my phone book named J. Big Meat.
You have told Jim Big Meat's story before.
Yeah.
On the pod.
I believe that I'm sure that I have. So.
I love it every time. Jim Big Meat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually Jim.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Jeremiah.
Maybe it's Jennifer.
Jeremiah Big Meat.
Jeremiah had a big meat.
Jenny Big Meat.
Aw, Jenny Big Meat. Do you remember her from fourth period? She was so sweet. She had braces.
She moved.
Did she?
Changed her name.
Of course she did.
Can't imagine why. I did go to school with a young woman. I will not reveal her name. I will tell you off pod, but she decided to change her last. Go with mom's maiden name.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
because of her last name, and I will tell you that off pod. But
I once heard the last name Sackrider, and that was funny enough.
I played baseball against a kid named Titsworth.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll just the last name was Head.
Head. Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah.
I went to high school with a girl whose last name was Head. Yeah, she was nice. I liked her. She was in my choir class. Hope you're doing good.
different person.
Different person entirely. Anyway, but she was cool. I was into her. What are you into? Hey!
Shit!
Gotcha.
I'm sitting over here struggling, thinking of a good transition. Nothing. Honestly, it's so
Not
hard.
A goddamn thing.
It's so hard to be into fucking anything right now. But I will say, what I am into right now, I'm excited for the soon-to-be-released new Mobile Suit Gundam series, the name of which I cannot pronounce because it's GQ and then like 5 U's and an X, and I'm not kidding. But the most recent series I finally gave a shot in earnest, and that is The Witch from Mercury. The Gundam, there are many Gundam series, and the Gunplas, the plastic models that I love to build. My favorite ones are the Witch from Mercury kits, but I always fell asleep because I'm always watching it while I'm high.
Yes.
But I stayed awake for the first 2, maybe 3 episodes. We watched the prequel and the first 2 episodes, and it's so good. It's the first Gundam series to feature a female lead character and a queer character as well, and it has some shades of William Shakespeare's The Tempest in it as well.
Yep. Just from the episodes I've seen so far, yes.
Yeah, so it's beautiful, it's awesome, it's big robots, it's corporate espionage, it's queer love, it's so good. I'll post something. There's got to be a trailer for it.
Oh, sure.
Out there. But yeah, that's what I'm into. Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
Hell yeah.
What are you into?
I am into a TV show as well. Show I watched mostly while you guys were gone. I finished it today. It's called Death and Other Details.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were texting me about that.
Yes. It's a Hulu show. It's like a 10-part series. It's all one and done. And it's a mystery drama in the style of Death on the Nile or something. It takes place on a boat. It's a locked room mystery, a locked room death, with a gentleman detective, which is one of my favorite kinds of stories. Hercule Poirot is one of my favorite characters of all time. But this one is played by Mandy Patinkin, my favorite not really uncle, Mandy Patinkin. I love him. I love everything he's ever done. This show, I will give... I'm going to say like a 7.5 out of 10 personally for just the pacing of it all, but it was a good story. It was an enjoyable story. And I really liked the main female character whose story this really is, played by a woman who I've never, ever seen before. Her name is Violet Bean. I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. And it also had one of my favorite things I told you I was texting you about, really, really flawed, fucked up queer characters who make bad choices.
Yes.
Queer characters who do wrong things, because queer characters are people and they can do whatever the fuck every other people does.
Yes.
Including cheat on your wife. Don't do that shit. But, if you're queer and in television, I'll be a little empowered seeing you do that shit because you're not, a Mary Sue.
That's if I can track down just like a YouTube video of the Patton Oswalt gay best friend bit, I will post that because that's what we talked about, and it's one of my favorite bits.
Yeah.
Wherein he tells the story of the time he was offered a role to audition for a role of a gay best friend, but only if he was allowed to play them completely stupid, as a counter to the magical gay best friend who always has the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I love when queer characters are as flawed as their hetero counterparts.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, Death and Other Details on Hulu, pretty darned solid. And I think they left it open for some more later, which is great too. Very exciting.
Always love that. What do we have? I really do love that. I felt like I cut it off too quick.
No.
But I really do genuinely love that. What do we have on the agenda for next week?
Next week, I am reading Gotten by the Gator by Lizzie Strong.
Appropriate.
Yes.
That I was just in Florida.
That's true.
And as always, I am very much looking forward to it. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. All the links are on the link tree. If you would like to communicate with us via email, especially if you're Dakota Cockaday, please do so. cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. Once this episode hits the main feed, the top link on our link tree will be a link to this book. It is not an affiliate link. We don't get any money for it. We're just trying to help the authors out. If you would like to support us financially, you can do so on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, like these fine folks have. Lindsay Rain, Eden Knox, Zach, Zoe Barrett, Emily Purley, Aaron Manak, Miss Chris, Raven, Natasha Bear, Desiree Rodriguez, Local Mind Flayer, Seattle number 42, Vincent Sultanfuss, Kitsune Inc., Cassie, Cassandra, Brian S., April D. Berry, Dana Goddard, Stephanie Hawkins, Gemma, Lady Squishy Buns, Tia Esk, Rob Gatika, Angela McNichols, Katie Hurd, Gwendolyn Harper, Seneca O., and Rebecca K. The music that you hear in this and every episode, but not for much longer, is Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org.
Listener, remember, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she'll come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Now it is very late, and I am going to bed. Goodbye.